Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Effective Customer Service 101 training. We are Group 2 training consultants. With me here today is Allison, Latoya, and Taniele. And of course, I'm Joel. And it is our duty to carry you through this training. But before we get into it, there are some ground rules that we must cover, as this is an online session, right? So participants are encouraged to join the classes early. It is very important that we do this so that we can test our technology. We would not want to have anything interrupting our classes, and we want to keep the classes timely. We're all adults and we want to respect each other's time. And we're encouraging everybody to find their strongest internet connection as well. If you need to hardwire to your router, that is also encouraged to limit any form of interruptions. Mute your mic. It is expected that you mute your mic unless you will be contributing to the class. We do not want to have any background noise. We want to limit that as much as possible. We're encouraging you to turn off your video cameras unless you're otherwise instructed. Just pay attention to this because we don't want you to, accidentally open the camera and you're seeing what we're not supposed to be seeing, right? Eliminate the distraction during class. We are asking for your attention during this time, during the stipulated period that we have reserved for the class. And feel free to use the chat feature, right? You can ask your questions there. And of course, guys, we are expecting mutual respect. Respect each other as persons. This is an interactive session. We'll be talking, so it is not just a lecture session. So us here at Group 2 trainers, we do not just come up here and talk to you, so we are expecting a participation from everybody, so mutual respect goes. We had a lecturer who was telling us that respect goes where it is followed or something like that, so let's model that today. So our presenter, Taniele, will have an icebreaker so we can get to, relax and know each other a little better. So Taniele, handing over to you now.
Good evening, everybody. How are we all doing today?
We're good.
I'm good.
I
Okay,
am fine, thank
you guys
you.
don't really sound so enthused. Is it that we are too late in the evening, or it's because it is on a day
Where
when we're
I'm
all burnout?
where I'm at is very cold, so I'm feeling cold.
Right, so some persons are cold. What else is
A
happening?
little tired, just getting in
Tired.
from work.
Tired. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds. I want to hear everybody's voice. I want to hear all the participants just say something about yourself, and based on your tone of voice, somebody is going to assume something about you, and then we know if it is true. All right, so let's start with the man in the room.
All
Just
right,
by
good
the tone of
afternoon,
your voice, just
everybody.
say something randomly, and somebody based on just your tone of voice is going to assume something about you, and we're going to justify whether you're going to justify whether or not this is correct, or say whether or
Okay,
not
good
it is correct.
afternoon. Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Anthony. Um, I work in customer service.
Anybody wants to try?
Um, he sounds confident, so customer service seems like a fitting area for him.
All right, Anthony, do you believe that to be true? You're a very confident person.
I'm actually a bit shy, but I'm on this platform, so I'm trying to muster up the courage to sound confident
Just because we're not seeing the face.
because you're not seeing the face. That's
So
exactly true.
you're shy behind the camera, but you're shy behind you're bold
I'm
behind the
confident
camera, but
behind
you're
the
shy in
camera,
front
yeah,
of the
but
camera. Okay, you're confident. All right, that those are some of the peculiar skill sets that we're looking for in our men. Next person, Latoya.
Good afternoon. My name is Megan and I work at IBEX. I'm a customer service representative.
Who wants to take that one?
okay. So Megan, she sounds pleasant. I would say she sounds pleasant.
Okay. Anybody who is not, who is the other person? Or do I need to do me? But based on my tone of voice, what can you suggest, or can you assume?
Well, we can assume that we're looking forward to this presentation. This group sounds fun, and they sound like they're well knowledgeable already.
I kind of get hyper sometimes, especially when it comes on to presentation. Megan, you never told us if it was true what Anthony said.
Yes, I am. I am a pleasant person.
So can I assume that the other person is a shy person because I have not heard the person presenting any at all
Hi,
or
I'm
said
Lisa.
anything?
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are.
Yes, I'm Lisa, and
Mm-hmm.
I do not like crowds.
Do not like
Crowds.
pros.
Yes, socializing with a lot of persons.
Okay, so somebody tell me something that they learned about somebody else quickly.
Well, is it Alice? Alyssa?
Lisa.
Yes. Alyssa, based on the tone of her voice, it definitely sounds that she's someone who likes to stay by herself, a reserved person.
All right, so can we assume that we have a mixed audience today? We have somebody who is hyper, we have somebody who is shy, we have somebody who is on the quiet side, and we have somebody who is afraid of the camera. So, Mr. Presenter, sir, I guess you'll have to draw on all these personalities here today because we're going to tame the talkative one and we're going to bring a little bit of light to the shy one. Agreed?
Agreed,
Yes.
agreed.
Fair enough, guys. Will you be able to, persons who are reserved and persons who, you know, are tired, will we be able to allow this to be a very interactive presentation?
Well, put my best foot forward.
All right, let's see what is in the bag for us. Okay. Okay, Joel, you may go ahead.
All right, thank you very
Latoya
much.
has a question.
Oh, there's a question. Go ahead.
Sorry, I accidentally raised my hand.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much, Taniele, for warming up the room. So seeing that we are now warm, you need to know what is it that we are looking forward to at the end of this presentation. Why exactly are we here? So our aim is to train present and prospective customer service representatives in the delivery of quality customer service, right? Which shows professionalism, positivity. Those are just a few of the words that you will hear as we go on. So the aim, this is a competency-based training. So at the end of all of this, whether you are directly involved in customer service or your job allows you to interact with clients on some level, we want you to be competent in delivering excellent customer service, right? So the outline of this program, we'll have two modules that we'll be focusing on. One of the modules will discuss primarily development of language and communication skills, right? Our next module will present on developing your key customer service skills, right? So the different presenters with me today, go over the names again. I'm Joel, I have Taniele with me, Latoya, and also Allison. We will do a kind of tag team and we will go through and explain these concepts to you. And there are some activities coming up, exciting stuff. So I will take you through the first part of developing soft skills. So that is where we're going to start. But before we touch on developing soft skills, we want to look at what is customer service exactly? What exactly is customer service? Let me ask Megan. Megan, can you, in your own words, tell me what is customer service?
In my own words, I think customer service is assisting persons. So when persons come to you in your organization, you assist them in getting whatever it is that they need or want.
Excellent answer, Megan. Excellent answer. So Megan could take my place, and teach this course. So already she's on the right track. So as she said, assisting customers. But to do that effectively, there are some key things that we must have. So we are going to look at soft skills because these things are things that equip us to do customer service effectively. So we'll be going through the definition of what is soft skills and explaining how soft skills relate to career success, right? All right, so what are soft skills? So soft skills, we define them as the enabling attributes are the attributes that enable someone to interact effectively with each other and their customers, right? If you have done some form of job application before, maybe on your CV, you would have put that you have good interpersonal skills, right? So interpersonal skills are the same thing as soft skills, and they are what characterize a person's relationship with other people. So in the workplace, these act as a complement to your hard skills. And for hard skills, I'm going to pick on somebody now. I'm going to pick on Mr. Anthony. Mr. Anthony, can you tell me what is a hard skill? Okay, sir. So a hard skill. I think a hard skill would be like proficient in Microsoft Office. All right, Mr. Anthony, are you asking me or are you telling me? Yes, I'm telling you. Okay, good. So see, Mr. Anthony, we're building his confidence, building his confidence more. So yes, so a hard skill would be something like being proficient in Microsoft Office or AutoCAD or something like that's a technical vocation. So say, for example, if you look at the slide there, you'll see the top 10 soft skills. So say, for example, Mr. Anthony was supposed to develop his soft skill of, problem solving. You could see how he could directly apply that to his knowledge of Microsoft Office or AutoCAD or something, and he could deliver even more efficiently and effectively to his customers, right? Because we all have customers, we're all involved in sales at some point in our life. We're either selling a personality, selling a product or something. So we have some key things in soft skills that we need to focus on, right? And why are they important to customer service? So it helps to handle interpersonal relations, to take appropriate decisions, to communicate effectively, and to have a good impression and impact that gains professional development. All of these help to make the customer experience even better. So when you look at this now, we look at some of the key takeaways. Maybe you won't remember everything that I said here today, but think about these key things. So one, soft skills include attributes and personality traits that help employees interact with others and succeed in the workplace. Examples of some soft skills are the ability to communicate with prospective clients, to mentor your coworkers, if you're involved in leadership, to lead a team, to negotiate contracts, also to handle difficult customers as well. That is something that you will also need to do. I think Mr. Anthony mentioned that he's a customer service representative. So you will have difficult customers from time to time, and it is your soft skills. A disgruntled customer does not want to hear about how technically savvy you are. They want to know that you can, what would be important even for your employer to know is that you can bring calm to the situation and reassure that client. Hard skills, those are measured and usually obtained through formal education and training. All right. Workers with good soft skills can help companies achieve higher levels of efficiency and productivity. And in contrast to hard skills, you must remember that soft skills are more difficult to acquire through formal training. It's not as easy to teach something like self-motivation, so they are a little bit more difficult. So if you look at the slide here, we have a thought-provoking question here. Are soft skills really that important? So what, for example, if I join a company and meet all the requirements, right? It is a company that requires CAPE, for example, to join, but I have a master's, right? And I'm very good at what I do. I'm the best at what I do. How important is soft skills to my career success? Because I come in as the best. I'm the top performer here. Why do you think that I need to develop my soft skills? So I'm going to open the floor now for persons to just have a quick discussion, not too long. Let's try to keep it to about 40 seconds. So the floor is yours. Let's have this discussion really quick.
I think the soft skills really sets you apart from other persons. It really defines who you are as a person, how you do your job.
Okay, all right, I agree with that. It brings some personality to the job, and also that is very important because as the presentation goes on, you will hear about how important communication is, and you will learn about maintaining a positive professional image and also maintaining the business image as well, because being involved in effective customer service is not just about you, but you are a representative. That's why they call it a representative. You represent the company, and how well you balance your soft skills and all of the nice stuff that is to come in this presentation will determine how well you represent that company and secure future business and ensure a good customer service experience. So now I will hand over to Allison, who will take us through the communication process. Allison, take it away.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening, Allison.
Yes, so
Good
as you
evening.
can recall, I'm Allison Lattibeaudiere. Today we'll be discussing some aspects of communication. But first, I want to show a little video. Let me see the hands of those who know Chinese telephone. Okay, good. Okay, great. So we all are familiar with that game. We might have played it while we were growing up, or at church, or at school, or something. So I'm going to show a little video at first, and then we can go into the lesson. Please give me a few seconds out of your time to watch this video.
That's on video.
Okay. All right, so let's have Matthew then start.
Go back. What? Oh my god. Oh no, it's I don't know. Wait, what was the second? Ah, crap, I forgot it.
No talking.
Really?
Okay, so what do you think it is? Okay. And let me get a picture of what the word was, or the sentence was.
All right, that was interesting, right? I need
Indeed.
each person to tell me just one takeaway from the video that they got. Don't be shy now.
All right.
I'm
So good
using
afternoon,
the
everybody.
All right, Joel, you
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon. So what I realized in that video is that communication has to do with the interpretation of the message as well. So there was one sender, and it seemed like other persons got something different from what the intended message was.
Okay. Next person.
I think my takeaway is that the Chinese telephone is not reliable.
Okay. Next person.
Well, basically, whatever started out at one end of the line wasn't what was interpreted by the last person to have received the message. So you realize that over time, during the course of transferring of information, that the message changed several times. And
Exactly.
I assume that as it relates, as we know, as it relates to communication, there was some level of miscommunication that took place.
Right. So you all are on point right there. And there are many takeaways we could get from this short video. And one thing as well is that the type of communication, the type of medium used the message gets distorted along the way. So what was said at the beginning or what was done at the beginning is not the same thing that we saw at the end. So depending too on the type of communication channel, the message will get messed up along the line. So by watching this video, you can see where this ties in with communication. So let's move on.
That's on video.
Okay. All right. So let's have Matthew then.
Oops, sorry about that. So for this session, you will be able to detect ineffective communication and effective methods of communication in the workplace. You will also be able to draw the communication process and to demonstrate good telephone etiquette, which will be done by another presenter. No, Mr. Joel already spoke a little bit about communication, but just a definition from Nordquist 2019. Communication is a process of sending and receiving messages through verbal or nonverbal means, which include speech, oral communication, writing and graphical representation, such as infographics, maps and charts, signs, signals, and behavior. Now let's look at the communication process. Pay attention to this because for your assessment, you'll be required to create a poster depicting effective communication. So ensure that it is detailed and it has all the necessary information. This makes up 20% of your grade, so give it your best shot. So here we have the sender. We have to have a sender in the communication process. Then the message is encoded. Then it goes to the message channel. And then the receiver receives the message. So after the receiver receives the message, it is decoded, then back to the message channel, and then the feedback. So in the middle, we have the noise. And the noise can be a form of distraction. It can interrupt the message, so the message can be changed along the way, depending on the type of noise. Can anybody guess a type of noise that would interrupt a message? So we may call these barriers to communication. Anybody? Okay. So
It could be physical noise.
yes.
Yeah.
Could be language. So one person might not be a good English speaker, their first language is Spanish. So they have a problem translating from one language to the next. So that could distort the message, right? Feel
Yes, it
free
can.
to. Exactly.
And
So
if you
thank you.
and
Sorry,
if
go
we were
ahead.
if we were to even go back to the Chinese telephone,
Mhm.
you realize that even though it's not noise, but a form of what do they call it now? Something that disrupted the communication process was the fact that because they had to do actions, you
Mhm.
realize that there was some miscommunication that took place. So the message was
Exactly.
not effectively sent, right? So it's not, in my estimation or based on my knowledge, it's not just limited to noise. There are many different barriers there are to the process of communication.
Okay, you're correct. But I don't think noise here refers directly to noise, just the barriers to the communication process. But that's correct as well. Thank you. So let's look on the types of communication. We have communication, the type of communication media. So we know of verbal communication, which falls under oral or written. And oral, we use speaking and listening. Written, we use writing and reading. Non-verbal, we have our facial expressions. So a lot of us, we have difficulty hiding our facial expressions when somebody is talking to us. So sometimes we don't even realize it. So we have to pay attention to that. Our gestures, we use a lot of hand signals when we're talking. Currently, I'm moving my hand. So, it's automatic to use gestures to get our points across. And we have body language. When somebody is talking to you, if you're slouched, can't show but if we're slouched forward, it shows that you're not really interested. If your hands are crossed or folded, it's like you're putting up a defense, and stuff like that. You have proximity, touch, personal appearance, and silence. And we just went through this a bit. Verbal communication is sharing information from one individual to the next using words or writing. And we spoke of the nonverbal communication. So we use body language to send across information. So as we mentioned, the facial expression, the gestures, and the eye contact, etc. Now, just a little thing for us to do. If you check your WhatsApp groups, you'll see a link to this recap exercise. Just a short quiz, nothing too hard for us to do. You just click on the link and this exercise will come up. So you put in your name and today's date. And at the end of the test, you just click finish. It will automatically give you a score. And then you screenshot it and send it to the email, my email. Everybody good with that?
Sure.
All right, so I'm going to give you 5 minutes to complete this since it's not too hard. Okay, so let's move on to effective methods of communications to use in office settings. So as a service provider, you should make sure that the customer gets a message and that the message received matches the one that was sent, right? We want to minimize all misunderstandings. So the critical element to good customer experience is effective communication. Very important. So you must be able to realize the customer's expectations, solve the customer problems, all while maintaining professionalism in the workplace, which is a topic that you'll learn more about shortly. To achieve all of this, the customer service representative must be an attentive listener. So I'm sure many of us have heard this, be an attentive listener and active listener. Can somebody tell me how some ways you can be an attentive listener?
By trying to listening for understanding, not just listening to respond,
Okay.
not trying to speak while the person is speaking.
Anybody else have any inputs? Just taking one more person.
Taking notes, so you're able to write down the key points, make notes, and to paraphrase what was said.
Thank you so much. You both are correct. So we want to do those things when in being an active listener. We want to listen with an open mind, remove all biases. So even if this is our belief, we must still listen with an open mind to what the other person is saying and try to understand from their perspective. We must also be concrete and clear. So the message that we're sending across, put it across in a way that it is easy to understand, that all different type of persons may be able to understand. So use simple vocabulary, use your active voice, and ensure that your objectives are very clear. This helps to avoid all misunderstandings. The next, nonverbal communication is key. We can say this, persons say things at times, but their body language and their eye contact is saying something different, right? We've all experienced that. So your tone is important, your eye contact, your facial expressions, and your hand gestures. Using nonverbal communication while you're speaking will help to deliver your message more effectively, right? And to improve your nonverbal communication, learn about different hand gestures, tones, and stances. Also, make sure you pay attention to the other person's body language so that you can interpret the message better. So when you're talking to somebody, you can pay attention to what they're saying, how their body language is, and you can know what what's next you want to say in the conversation, or what direction you want to move the conversation to, right?
All right, everybody. So I'm your next presenter. My name is Taniele. Just to ensure that everybody is here, I need somebody to tell me something that they learned from Joel's presentation and somebody to tell me something that they learned from Allison's presentation. Quickly, 10 seconds.
All right, so we learned that soft skills are important for career success because it is the interpersonal quality that you bring to the job, especially in customer service. And from Allison, the last thing she left us with, how to effectively communicate, using all the different channels and eliminating noise and such.
All right, very good. Thank you, Anthony. Now, remember that the focus of this presentation that we're doing today is customer service. We are here to learn how to be effective or how to carry out effective customer service, right? And so now we're going to be looking at telephone etiquette, right? Some of us within our job functions, we have to answer the telephone. Some of us have to take calls, etc. So basically this guide is a guide to answer telephone. So there are some pertinent little things that we need to know as communicators, effective communicators, on how to answer a telephone. One, always answer your phone with a greeting. Hello, good morning, how are you doing? Welcome to telephone etiquette 101, etc. Sit up straight and smile when you are talking, not because you are beyond the screen, not because you are beyond something that is opaque, means that you're supposed to, that the body language that you're portraying that was explained earlier will not affect your communication, right? So the truth is, and it is tested and proven scientifically, that when you smile, it comes across in your words, right? Do not eat and drink while talking on the telephone. Have you ever had an experience where somebody's talking on the phone and they're eating? Really, really annoying, right? If you have limited time to talk, explain to the caller that you must leave shortly. Now, within the context of customer service, you have a meeting, you have a briefing within the next 10 minutes and a client calls, right? Most persons, or a lot of persons, would want to say, allow it to go to machine. But just in case you happen to answer the phone, you can't, it's not polite to hasten people off the phone, right? So you want to, and you don't have to tell them exactly where you're going or whatever you need to do, but just find a little meek way of just saying to them that, listen, can I take your number? Can I call you back? Right? These are some of the things that will show us that our customers come first, that we take an interest in our clientele, right? Speak clearly and in short sentences so that the caller has a chance to speak. And this is important, especially when we have to deal with persons. Sometimes we don't know people's background. Sometimes the tone of voice is very important. Sometimes somebody will call you. As the customer care representative, it's your responsibility to listen, right? Because sometimes most of us are in products, sales and services, right? And so sometimes the person call you frustrated. Just imagine, always, for me, I always tell my trainees that, listen, it is very important that you put yourself in the shoes of the client, right? If you call somebody and frustrated and you just want to vent, even though, remember, the person might not have a direct impact on anything, but the mere fact that you want to vent and the person not giving you that option to vent might be seen as disrespectful, right? So we need to remember these things. Never interrupt the caller. Again, a reinforcement of what was just said. Always have a notepad near you so you can jot down information, right? And this is essential. It is essential because you don't want at the end of the call you're asking the person, what did it say again, right? Because to them that is showing lack of your ability or your focus to them. You're showing them that you were not my priority for the last 3 minutes or the last 7 minutes that I've been speaking with you on the phone, right? And those are some basic etiquette that we need to know when we're dealing with phone etiquette, right? And so here's a little exercise, and I'm going to go briefly. Providing I'm going to provide you with the opportunity to to carry out a telephone conversation, but we're not going to be able to present it today. So in day 2 of the training, you'll get that 5, 10, 15 minutes to nap that presentation. And so we'll be able to, after we have garnered some more set skills on effective communication, then we'll be able to carry out that. But just imagine calling somebody. So the name of the company is Customer Service Consultancy, right? And you're calling them about booking them for your boss had asked you to book them to ensure that the staff gets adequate training, and you call them. So an ideal expectation would be, welcome to Customer Service Consultancy. How may I be of assistance to you today? Right? The person should pause, allow you to speak, and when you speak, because you're not coming with a complaint, then there's no need to apologize, right? So after you have given the person what needs to be said, then what needs to come after, if additional information, if the person is requiring or requesting additional information, if you're not able to provide the information, then you might want to ask somebody who you think is who has the capability to do so, right? Remember, the language should be simple. So not because you're in customer service and you hear persons talking some words and you want to show off on somebody that So ensure that you ask the person, reinforce the information to, is this really what you want? Ensure that effective communication takes place. So not everything that the person say you might hear, and sometimes a person will call you not even so sure of what exactly they want, right? So remember some of these pertinent points when you prepare for your assessment or for your model tomorrow. And so we're moving on. So in the next session, we'll be able to identify positive and negative body language. We're going to show an appreciation for why body language is important and helps in providing excellent customer service. Are we still here? Joel,
Yes.
Allison, Latoya, we're still here.
Yes,
Nobody's
sir.
falling asleep.
I'm here.
Yes,
Sure.
yeah, I can
Then we
hear
talk about body language. Where does body language, who spoke about body language and where did it fall?
In
Anybody
communication.
knows? It falls under communication, but what type of communication is body language?
Non-verbal.
Well,
It's a nonverbal, and we know that nonverbal means that you're not using words or writing, right? So body language is very important. We know that body language is very important. Oftentimes I'm in some spaces and persons are like, I'm at my job and my supervisor says something and somebody's like, Johnson, fix your face, because everything that I'm thinking is represented with it on my face, right? So we have to be very careful of body language, because body language can also be used to send a message. All right. So it shows your attitude. How are you feeling without saying it, right? It can also be used to show interest. And the truth is, our body language is culturally influenced. In Jamaica, we shake hands as a sign of respect. Some persons in some other cultures kiss, right? Thumbs up might mean this in our culture. In some other culture, it means something else. So it is culturally relative. It is dependent on exactly where it is carried out. So we have different types of body languages. We have positive body languages and we have negative body languages, right? Positive body languages would be something like having a warm, friendly smile, a handshake, nodding, listening, facing your customers. That is important, right? So you're telling the person, you're facing the person means you have my full attention, right? Being well groomed. A lot of persons don't really accept this, but being well-groomed sends a message. It sends a message that I'm a professional, right? And these are some of the things that we want to portray. How we look, right? As bad as you think it is, how we smell is very important, right? And then we have some negative body languages like hissing the teeth. Regardless, I think, regardless of wherever culture you go in, hissing the teeth is just blatantly disrespectful, right? Frowning, stretching, chewing of gum. Culturally, this is something that we are losing as a society, because I remember when I was in school, it was almost, if you ever think you bad and chew bubble gum, that's a reason for detention or dismissal from the class, right? Giving the customer an intimate handshake. We are professionals, and probably the intimacy of the handshake can come off wrong to some persons, right? Holding your head down and having a plastic smile. So as customer service representative or persons within this field, we need to understand body language, the importance of body language, how to depict positive and negative body language as we go along, right? Any questions? No, everybody bright today. Jesus.
No question.
How does body language impact customer service, right? We not even need to go read all of this. We're all a part of of customer service, whether we are providers of the service or we are recipients of the service, right? So as anybody had an experience where the use of body language has sent a negative connotation?
Yes, I have an experience.
You want to share it with us?
Yes. So I went to a hotel at one point, and I was talking to the person at the front desk. I came there well polite, well excited about my vacation. And I don't know if it's what I was wearing or whatever, but the person was just looking at me in a kind of scornful way. So though they were saying the right things, they were saying the right things like, hello, Mr. Anthony, nice to meet you. But the eye contact and the facial expressions were not saying that at all. So that is somewhere that I would never go back to.
Oh, and how did that make you feel?
Yeah, I felt really embarrassed. I felt really embarrassed because I was on a roller coaster of emotions. I'm excited to be there, but then because of the customer service, the person who I'm seeing at the front desk, I just want to go back home.
And as you're saying that kind of turned you off, and you wouldn't recommend somebody to go back to that establishment, or you yourself would not go back to that establishment, right?
Right.
So these are some of the things that we have to pay attention to. The body language at all times impact customer service, right? The eye contact that you make with somebody. If I come to the desk and you're standing there, you're doing something on the computer, but you still have to pay attention to me, right? And I come there and you say, hi, good morning, and your head is down and you're typing away. I am not, me personally, sorry. I can be very strong. I would have to have stopped you in your tracks to let you know that, okay, I am standing here, look up. This is the person that you're talking to, right? And so some of these things are very distasteful to persons, and it can affect the business. So even though it is not your business, but you are in the business of providing that service, you have to pay keen attention to these things. And there are certain clientele or certain persons will ensure and will tell you that, listen, the customer comes first. Regardless of whatever is happening, once somebody comes in front of you, you wipe off that face and you propose this level of professionalism as you ought to, right? So it is saying that eye contact is a way of building relationship, right? Allowing persons to know that I am here, I'm seeing you, not to be interrogative or dominating, but just to bring across the message that I see you and I hear you. If somebody frowns upon you, what is that? What does that think? What do you think that is saying? Person frowns.
Maybe they're being scornful.
You're being scornful, you're being annoyed, or you're being annoyed to them, right? This is how many I'm coming with one bag of question, right? So those are some things that can turn off people. So this is a take-home activity, 200 to 300 words. You're going to write a little essay on how negative body language affects a business, felt or how you would have experienced it. In the same way that Anthony shared his experience, I want to share your experience through writing, how they felt and your impression of the business. What did it leave a bitter taste in your mouth, or would it be something that you would still want to do? Right? Let's have the conversation in writing. Now I'm going to hand over to Latoya. She'll be looking at customer service, effective customer service skills. Latoya?
Thank you very much, Taniele, and all the previous presenters. I must say that you guys have really touched on a bit of customer service. So this is really to summarize or to put the icing on the cake. All right, so developing customer service skills. And for this session, learners will learn this. So you will learn the different steps in handling customer complaints. All right, so the importance of product knowledge in customer service. As a customer service representative, it is very important that you know the product or the service that is being offered by the organization. I mean, as a customer service representative, you are the source of information. So when a customer calls, they don't want to know, your if and but in whether or not you offer this service or not. They want to know that you know, right? So it is very important to have knowledge of the product being offered and the different services. All right, so when we look on the product services, we look at the features and the functions of the different products and services. And the functions has to do with the goals that can be accomplished by the product, and the features is a tool that helps you to accomplish the functions. So here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to think about a product that you have at home, and I wanted to think about the different features and the different function. And I just want one person to share with me, based on that product, what are the features and what are those functions?
Right, let me give it a try. So I have a stove. The function is for it to cook food. So the features are that it has an oven, it has 4 burners. Yes, that's it.
All right, nicely said, nicely said. And all of us have a cell phone, right? And everybody hearing me?
Yes, we are.
Yes. So all of us have a cell phone, and so can somebody just tell me a feature on their cell phone? Camera. And what function does the camera carry out?
To record or to take pictures.
Right. So you must know the different products. So if you're selling cell phones, you must know the different features of the cell phones and all the different functions that may carry out. Because when a customer calls, so I buy a product and I call and I'm having trouble, you must be able to assist me. All right. So moving on. All right, so common customer complaints. And as Taniele, she said earlier in her presentation that all of us are customers, right? So even though we offer service as customer service representatives, we're also customers, right?
Right.
Yes, miss.
Yes. So tell me some of the things that you complain about as a customer.
Poor quality of service.
All right. Poor quality of service. Yes.
When it doesn't meet the standard that it was, or it doesn't meet the standard that we expect, or because of how it was sold to us. How it was sold to us wasn't what we got.
Okay, very good. Anyone else? All right, so these are some very common complaints. So when a customer buys a product, you know, whereby they purchase this product for a specific purpose, right? And they expect that that purpose, that when they go home with that product, it is able to carry out that purpose or that function. And once they're not getting that, then guess what? They're going to complain, right? And as Taniele said earlier in her presentation, that you must always put yourself in your customer's shoe, right? You would not like somebody to sell you something and it is not working, or you go to an organization and nobody's paying you any mind or anything like that. So in order for you to offer good customer service, you have to first put yourself in the customer's shoe. How would I feel if I was a customer, right? And in being able to do that, then you're able to offer customer service that exceeds expectation, because one of the aim of customer service is not just for the customer to feel satisfied, right? You want to ensure that they're satisfied and you provide them with that wow factor. Any of you ever been to an organization and you said, wow, this is excellent service? Anybody ever have that experience? A yes or no? Anybody ever had that experience?
Always say we don't have
Yes.
customer service in Jamaica, so I'm not sure.
Well, I guess so. So probably we have not met that, have that experience where we receive something and say, whoa, this was worth the money, or this was worth the wait. Anyway, so let's look at the 7-step approach in handling customer complaints successfully, right? All right, so the first approach is that you're going to listen to the customer, explain the problem. And as was mentioned earlier, when we looked at effective methods of communication, the presentation by Allison, she spoke about that attentive listening, right? And that is a key component of the 7-step approach. So you have to listen to your customers, explain the problem, right? And in listening, you're going to be taking your notes, right? You're not going to interrupt the caller, and you're going to jot down the necessary information. And at the end of the customer explaining the problem, you're going to paraphrase it to them just to ensure that that is what they want you to assist them with. All right. The second step is that you're going to show empathy, right? Let the customer know that you understand what it is that they're feeling, right? So you're going to show empathy, because when you do this, it allows the customer to feel like, yes, you care. All right. So as a good customer service representative, you must be able to empathize. All right. Then you're going to apologize to the customer if it is the fault of your organization. And even if it's not so much your fault, you're still going to apologize to the customer. The fourth step is that you're going to offer solutions. So while you're there listening to the customer explain the problem, in the back of your mind, you should be thinking about what are the possible solutions that I can offer to this customer that will help them, right? So that they can find some form of redress for whatever it is that they're complaining about. So you must offer solutions, right? And you speak to the customer and you find out which solution best suit the customer. However, when you're offering your solutions, you have to be mindful of your organization's policies, right? Because you want whatever solution you're offering is in line with the protocols outlined by the organization. The fifth step is that you're going to act on the problem, right? So if it is something that you, as a customer service representative, is able to fix or to deal with, then you're going to act on it. If it is that you need to pass on the information to another co-worker, say for instance, a technician, you need to call in the technician, then you need to go and you need to act on that problem. Next, you're going to follow through, right? So if it is not your responsibility to fix the problem, right? And you have passed it on to the technician, you have to ensure that you check back with the technician and say, hey, Anthony, what's going on with that customer's complaint that I referred to you? Is everything okay? Is their internet up and running now? Right? So you're going to follow through. And the last step is that you're going to check back with the customer, right? So after you would have follow through. You call back the customer to ensure that everything. So, Lisa, you called the other day about your internet. I'm just calling to check to see if everything is okay, right? So you check back with your customer. This allows the customer to feel like, yes, they're important, right? And that you care about them. Okay? Are we clear?
Yes, miss.
All right, good. All right, so we are going to complete a case study. So the case study was sent to your email, and you're going to just complete the case study for your assignment. And when we come tomorrow, we will go through and we will discuss it, all right? All right. So the next session we're going to look at is professional customer service. And so the learning objectives is professional customers, the characteristics of professional customer service, and how to model a professional image in the workplace. All right, so quality customer service is meeting and exceeding customer expectations and every time. So it's not just a one-off basis that you're going to meet their expectations, but every single time. All right. Exceeding customers' expectations develop customer loyalty, retention, and create partnerships. All right, so if a customer comes to your organization and you provide them with that wow experience, guess what? They're going to want to come back, right? And not only are they going to come back, but guess what? They're going to tell their friends about it, and their friends are going to come just to get that same experience. And so the organization grows, right? So customer service is very important. It is very important to always exceed your customers' expectation. All right, so we have with us Jonathan, and he will be sharing with us a bit on customer service. Are we able to hear Jonathan?
No, miss.
All right.
No, miss.
All right, so we're not hearing Jonathan at the moment. I think we will have to join Jonathan at a later time. All right, so let's move on. We'll have to get back to Jonathan at a later time. All right, so Jonathan wanted to show or to tell us a bit about professional customer service, right? And as a professional customer service representative, we must be self-aware with our attitude and demeanor. And these are all qualities that was mentioned earlier. Can anybody tell me where we would have learned all of these things in which presentation? So look at the words, so self-awareness, attitude and demeanor, flexibility,
Yeah,
and
we learned that in
resourcefulness.
soft skills.
Right. So here we have our soft skills coming right back at us, right? So a part of customer service, we must have these soft skills. These soft skills are very important to delivering exceptional customer service. All right. All right. So a professional customer service representative. So again, with the soft skills, and I won't go in detail. So problem solving skills, clear communication, friendly attitude, time management. All right. So an unprofessional displaying inadequate knowledge of organization, transferring blame to colleagues and customers, being unprepared for customers, being discourteous, all right? So I'll now go to Taniele, and she will be our next presenter, and she will be looking at emotional intelligence. Taniele?
All right, so I'll be filling in for Taniele. All right, so for
You know,
the
hear me? I'm so sorry. You know, lang hear that? May I go?
all right, so Taniele is back with us, so go right ahead, Taniele.
All right, guys. So for this session, we're basically going to look at dealing with customer queries and the whole concept of emotional intelligence. So we see a little bit of everybody coming out now, Latoya, hearing her, hearing Allison, hearing Anthony, right? So what are customers' expectation? You are the customer. What are some of your expectations? What are some of the things that you want? Right? So customers' expectations are not to be feared. Nobody wants to be feared, right? When they understood, when they like to be understood and to be met where they are, as this allows for success to repeat customers and also referrals, as was just said by Latoya, right? So customers expect the product that you asked, that you said you were going to give them. They expect the expectations. They expect the product to meet the expectations you say it would meet, right? And they expect quality customer service, quality in the product that is that is being sold, or the business that is being sold. Next slide. And these are just quickly some of the customer query. We have to think about the attitude that we have, the people skills that we have, the same thing as the soft skills that were mentioned by our presenters prior, again reinforcing the whole concept of knowing your product. Know the product that you're selling and have excellent selling skills. All right, we're moving on to emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand and manage your own emotion as well as those of others around us. Now, as customer representative, as persons within the customer service sector, emotional intelligence is very important. The soft skills are very important. The body language is also important. And emotional intelligence here is also an example of a soft skill, right? So we have to know, most of the times when persons come to us, they come to us to either sell them a product or they come to us to complain about something, right? So we need to know, how do we mask our emotion and the type of emotions that are displayed, right? Why is it important? We need to know how to work with others, right? Because we're always, regardless of what we think, we're always in a theme, whether at work, at home, we're always working with a team or an organization, right? When we are in touch with our emotions, we have the power, right? We're able to take control of our thoughts and actions rather than displaying responses based on our emotions, which in some cases can be appropriate. Statistics show that your competencies, emotional intelligence is very important, right? It's a good domain to have, and it is what usually aids in successful customer service. Next slide. So here are some examples. Motivation. We need to be looking at the soft skills, the social skills. We have our idea of where are we of ourselves, the empathy that we show to our clientele, right? So somebody come and they're complaining, okay, I empathize with you. I know exactly what you're going through, right? So there's this whole concept and notion as to, is the customer right? Is the customer always right? A lot of persons, that's what they say. The customer is always right. Do we believe that the customer is always right? And we are finishing on that note. Do we believe that the customer is always right? All right, so we are now at the end of today's presentation, closing off on soft skills, so closing off on customer service competencies, right? And we would have looked at some things leading up to the expected product of being an effective customer service rep, or to be effective in customer service, right? So we look at soft skills, some of the softer skills that we need to have in order to deal with persons. So we look at the intrapersonal skills that we have, right? Our ability to lead, our ability to use our emotional intelligence, right? We went on to look at communication and what communication is. We looked at the types of communication, verbal and nonverbal. We also spent some time looking at the communication process, how to know that effective communication has taken place, right? We went into looking at customer service in its full capacity. So we looked at the effective how are we effective when we communicate with our clientele. We look at some of the do's and don'ts. We would have looked at how do we operate on the telephone. Would have also gone into looking at body language and other soft skills. And then we close off today's presentation by looking at another soft skill, which is emotional intelligence. So this concludes our presentation for today. Are there any questions? Are there any concerns before we go?
No, it was a very informative session, and the information received will be properly used.
Okay, so can we attest to the fact that we learned something today?
Yes.
Something that we did not know before?
Yes, I have.
Okay, Miss. Okay, Latoya, can you tell me something that you learned today that you were not fully exposed to before?
All right, so I learned that our soft skills play a very major role in us being good customer service representatives. So not only do we need the hard skills, but we need our soft skills as well.
Mm-hmm. Very good, excellent. Allison, do you care to share? Allison is still on the call?
I am here, but my background is a bit noisy, so I cannot.
Your background is a bit noisy, but you can attest to the fact that yes, you have indeed learned something today.
Most definitely. Thank you.
Okay, so guys, I want you. Sorry.
No, I said most definitely. Thank you.
Okay, so guys, I want to come back with the same energy tomorrow. We start at 9, so please be prompt. The recording will be uploaded and sent to your email, or you can access this through your drive. Please, if you think there's anything that you did not grasp the way you thought you should have grasped, or you weren't clear on something, you can always leave a message in the WhatsApp group, or you can send anyone of the presenters an email, right? We'll have access to it. And we'll be able to answer your questions in real time, right? Enjoy the rest of your evening. I wish for you to have a productive rest of day, and see you all tomorrow.
Thanks, and same
Bye.
to you.
All right, guys, take care.